Here's what's coming up on The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, your retirement television.
The fact is, most people don't want to spend down the portfolio, so that's why creating cash flow from the portfolio, income, without having to sell assets, sell your stocks, sell your mutual funds, that's the first place we're going to start if we can do that. The headwinds today are inflation. We also have a Federal Reserve that is raising interest rates right now, right? There's no more stimulus checks that are happening. There's no more $10 trillion of stimulus we had during COVID between the Federal Reserve and Congress, between stimmy checks and easy monetary policy. So right now is a very difficult time. So if you're retired, we want to make sure you have some type of planning to deal with the effects of volatility. So we are going to manage risk, and especially most of our clients' assets are in retirement assets. So the nice part about doing some active management, you're not triggering taxation in the retirement account. Saving money is a lot easier than spending the money. So our clients come to us, I tell them, most clients have already won the game, right? If we get involved, we're trying to optimize their retirement. We're trying to, again, most amount of income, least amount of risk, never run out of money. Because that's the number one concern that people have.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's retirement television.
Hi, San Diego, and welcome to this week's show.
We have 30 minutes of great information just for you.
Don't go anywhere. The show starts right now. Hi, and welcome to this week's Ask the Architect, where you email your questions into us from all over San Diego and we answer them right here on the show. David, I have some great questions this week, and I'll begin with Frank from Carmel Valley. And he writes, David, every time we meet our advisor, it seems to be the same old thing. She shows us a beautiful pie chart that looks pretty cool and has great graphics. We tell her we're worried about the market and all the volatility, but she always says, don't worry, everything will be okay. We're both 65 and want to guarantee our future. We asked her for a plan multiple times and have never received anything in writing. What should we do?
Well, Frank, thanks for the question. And, what you should do is probably find another advisor. I mean, that's just the reality. Because, if you have a good retirement planning advisor that's dealing with income, you should get a plan. The fact is that, when the advisor says, don't worry, you're okay, that's not a plan. And so the fact is once you're taking distribution of assets, the planning needs to change. The assets need to change. The investments need to change because we're solving for cash flow. Right? It's not just about growing your money. Again, growing the money is actually the third leg. We want to protect the capital first. We want to create an income stream and then grow the money. Right? So the fact is that your horse sense is right. You probably need to get a second opinion from somebody else at a minimum. But the fact is that your advisor is not doing any service there by not giving you a plan.
I wonder how many people watching today are saying, I don't have a written plan for my retirement. I have a lot of accounts, and probably at some point the question was raised, right? And they were told, don't worry, everything's going to be okay.
That's right.
And that's not a plan, David, is it?
Not at all.
My next question is from Marcia in Point Loma, and she writes, my husband and I are both in the medical field and have saved a lot of money. We have between us approximately $3.2 million. What can we do to stop feeling so out of control and get a handle on our money?
Well, thank you for the question. That's a common problem. Again, saving money is a lot easier than spending the money. So our clients come to us, I tell them, most clients have already won the game. Right? If we get involved, we're trying to optimize their retirement. We're trying to, again, most amount of income, least amount of risk, never run out of money. Because that's the number one concern that people have. So it's just having some certainty with those investments. And so the fact is that we want to start with how do we create income from those portfolios, right? So it just comes down to, how much money do you need, right? So at least we're going to tell the client what's possible. And most clients don't have a comfort level with what they can do in spending their money and worrying about running out of money.
And David, she actually sent us a follow-up question, and I want to just give you this piece because this might shed a little light on the discomfort or the frustration. 6 401ks,
okay.
5 IRAs, 2 brokerage accounts, 4 separate funds, 3 bank accounts. It sounds to me like that in itself is a full-time management financial potential nightmare.
Yeah, we're kind of a less is more firm, right? So we would first let's consolidate those accounts down, right? And the fact is that with our clients, we'll see everything in one account, one statement, right? So then you can actually at least analyze. So when we do reviews with our clients, we actually can make, interpolations about what do we have, how did we do, what do we own? And it's hard to do when you have assets all over the place. So we want to consolidate those accounts, number one, just so you can make better decisions about your money.
So I'm thinking about her right now and I'm saying, you know what? I hope they're not losing sleep, because I know there are a lot of pre-retirees and retirees that, David, they're losing sleep.
Yeah.
They don't know if they've got enough to make it. They don't know, and they're just, I don't know maybe it's the fear of something, of picking up that phone and just getting a second set of eyes to look at their stuff. But, you have to pick up the phone at some point. You have to go online. You've got to get the information necessary. And whether you're a smaller account, larger account, it doesn't matter, but you've got to get all that information, because is it a fair statement to say the last thing you want is that you put your last day in at work, you get the last paycheck you're ever going to get, and you don't know what's going to happen from there? And it seems to me like that can cause an unnecessary amount of non-sleeping nights.
Absolutely. I mean, in the normal times, look what's going on today with, wars and inflation. And so it's kind of that on steroids right now. So absolutely. And I'm glad that people are reaching out.
My next question is from Joanne in San Diego, and she writes, "Hi, I'm 67 and recently widowed. I am very concerned about keeping my money safe. I lost $50,000 of my husband's pension and $25,000 of my own Social Security benefits. I have saved approximately $1.5 million in assets. Where can I find safety and security in today's volatile market? How can I make sure my money will last for my entire lifetime?"
Well, first, I'm very sorry for your loss, and we deal with these kind of issues all the time, and you're kind of the poster child for that. It's hey, when we're doing planning, we're doing surviving spouse planning, right? So with our firm, we've already made those planning decisions, knowing that we may lose half the pension, knowing we're going to lose the Social Security benefits. So knowing that you didn't do planning prior to that, and you're in that situation, bottom line is we're just going to have to sit down with her and say, okay, here's what's possible. Here's the amount of income that you can safely withdraw. What are the safest assets? We would start with the kind of the pyramid of what's the safest foundational assets that we can have guarantees with. We can have lifetime income benefits from, our principal protection, and then kind of build upon that. But that's what we do. And so the fact is that with that type of situation, we want to kind of with kid gloves and take care of her because she's probably concerned and not maybe didn't deal with these kind of issues in the past. And I find that a lot, that maybe the husband has dealt with most of these issues. So I'm glad she's reaching out, but there's definitely things we can do.
David, thanks so much. If you want more information about anything we spoke about here today, give us a call in the office or go to our website. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's retirement television.
Are you unleashing the possibilities of your assets in retirement? Hi, I'm David Reyes with Reyes Financial Architecture. As a retirement and investment advisory firm here in San Diego, we've helped countless retirees and pre-retirees create a cohesive plan to maximize their assets and, most importantly, their cash flow in retirement. Call 866-REYES-PLAN right now to schedule a complimentary second opinion review. And remember, you retire once, we retire every day.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's retirement television.
Hi, San Diego. Welcome back to the program. We're here on AM 600 with the retirement architect, David Reyes. He is a best-selling author, TV personality, and retirement planner extraordinaire. Yes, I did say it, extraordinaire. I'm not sure if that's in compliance or not. I might have to take that back. David, it's so good to see you. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Hey, listen, our topic today is how to protect yourself against volatility in the market. Oh, we know that the market can go crazy, right? Absolutely, and you've got to protect yourself. So I love this word. I think you should coin it, trademark it. It is Diversification. Explain what that is.
Yeah. We all know what diversification is, but the problem is that, is most people, I'm diversified, I own 20 mutual funds. Well, the problem is most of those mutual funds probably own the same stocks, by the way. Considering Apple represents 7% of the entire S&P 500, almost every mutual fund that's a stock mutual fund owns Apple, owns Microsoft, owns all those things. So diversification is kind of a play on words, meaning that, yeah, you can own as many mutual funds as you like. If they all own stocks, right, and the market drops 50%, how much do you think you're going to drop? 50% most likely, right? So I kind of tongue-in-cheek that, but the fact is it's real, because how you truly diversify is to diversify outside of just stocks and bonds. So it's fine, own stocks, own bonds, but you might want to own other asset classes like real estate. We might want to own some principal protected type of strategies, maybe some guaranteed lifetime income strategies to take off some risk, to create cash flow. And so those are the kind of things that we talk about true diversification. Most people aren't truly diversified. Even gold is actually a good diversifier, and very few people own gold, own in their portfolios. We actually do in a lot of our portfolios.
So David, why don't all advisors do this, right? Why doesn't every advisor seek to put you in 3, 4, 5, 6 different asset classes rather than just stocks and bonds? I know what the answer is, but why don't they do that?
It's just, I don't, everything that comes to my mind is just laziness. I mean, and just kind of and I'm trying to say it not being, I am being critical. I mean, it is. The fact is, yeah, if you're just accumulating assets and you're 20, 30 years old, you don't need to own stocks, don't even own bonds. But as you get to that, we call that retirement red zone, 5 to 10 years from retirement or in retirement, you need a different strategy. So that's all I've done for 27 years is retirement income planning. So we've always used multiple asset classes because we're trying to reduce risk. We're trying to create cash flow. And so to me, it's just the best way to go in using those assets that are outside the stock and bond market.
I have to let our listeners know. We were on break. We're having a little lunch, and you're having lunch, and you're looking at your computer.
Oh, yeah.
You're following the stock market, and this really brings me and segues me in to my next topic. But before that, I'm just going to tell this story. You're like, hey, come over here, check this out. This is doing this, that's going there. This is how we make sure that people are safe against this. It's utterly fascinating. You're moving through from one chart to another chart, and can we call this active risk management?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a big piece of what we do. When we look at how we're managing money, we're typically going to own. We have a dividend portfolio called Enhanced Dividend Strategies, where we're trying to create 4, 5, 6% cash flow from that portfolio, and then we have our real estate strategies, and then we have our active risk management strategies. So we'll typically use those in our retirement accounts, because anytime you trade right inside of an account, now the nice part is when you trade stocks, there's no fee, which is kind of nice, but also there's no taxation inside of an IRA. So where you can so some clients will hire me. This has happened many times now. Let's just say somebody has $5 million. This happened a couple times this year. And half their money is in a taxable account, right? And half their money is in a retirement account. So what they'll do is they'll hire me to manage the retirement account, because I can use my risk management strategies inside of there, because there's no tax that's triggered by buying and selling. Make sense? Where if they own the Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google that everybody owns, the Netflix, which is down 70% this year at one time, they sell those stocks, what happens? If they've held it for a long time, they got to pay tax. So what I do then, and this happens a lot more often than it used to, is then I'll just manage that half of the portfolio, and that way I can help to mitigate the risk of their entire assets. So kind of a little nuance what I'm talking about, but it gets back into, yes, we are going to manage risk, and especially most of our clients' assets are in retirement assets. So the nice part about doing some active management, you're not triggering taxation in the retirement account.
So do you remember the guy on TV, Ron Popeil, did the infomercials?
No.
Oh, he had all these different, the one I'm going to reference right now is some sort of crock pot, and you would put the food in there, and his catchphrase was, set it and forget
I remember that.
That is not what Reyes is all about. This is not a buy and hold.
We're not a crock pot.
This is, well, I beg to differ. But the reality of this, that active risk management isn't a weekly thing or a monthly thing. It is a daily thing. You are on top of what your clients have on a daily basis to protect them, to preserve what they have, and to ensure that they get the best possible return. And what do you say? You have 3 things that you say when you talk about portfolio. It's maximizing income. What are the other pieces again?
Yeah, I've come up with you're saying it so many times, we went with the most amount of income, least amount of risk, and never run out of money. Right.
David, that's it. That's it right there. Hey, listen, if you want more information about what David does, now is the time to pick up the phone. 866 Reyes Plan. He will do a complimentary second opinion for you. That's David's eyes, not somebody on the team. That's David looking over your portfolio. If you want to go to the website, it's reyesplan.com. And don't go anywhere, San Diego. We will be right back.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's retirement television.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's retirement television.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retirement True or False. David, I've got some great questions this week for San Diego. The first one is, the stock market will not always yield a great long-term return. True or false?
True and false, right? Not true, false, I guess, right? Both. It's, that's a tough one. I mean, the lost decade, we call it, was 2000 to 2010. Basically had zero rate of return during that time frame. The market, dropped dropped 40% between 2000 and 2002, dropped another 55% between 07 and 09. Took to 2013 for the market to make a new all-time high from 2000. So it took 13 years for the market to recover back higher than it was 13 years prior. So again, it's when you retire, and again, that's luck. I mean, that's fortune. So you just have to have a plan to deal with that. Really, again, our number one job is protect capital. Again, most amount of income, least amount of risk, never run out of money. And so with that job, again, how's our money going to behave and act, and what job is it going to do to replace our paycheck? That's a different mandate than make as much money as possible when the market crashes, just wait for it to come back. We can't do that in retirement.
Yeah, so is there a place, and I'll ask you this, and I may know the answer already, but is there a place for the stock market in someone's portfolio?
Absolutely, yes, for sure. All of our clients have some exposure to the market. I mean, maybe I can name a handful that have zero, right? That want zero risk, and we're using, principal protected investments only. That's rare, but we do have some clients like that. But the fact is, yes, is it 30%, 50%, 60%, 70%? But the fact is it producing income? Is there a risk management strategy underneath that strategy to deal with, stock market crashes? What other asset classes do we have that maybe real estate, maybe other types of investments that are not necessarily correlated directly to the stock markets and the bond market? So there's lots of ways to deal with that, and we do proactively with our clients.
Next question. If you leave a company, you should leave your 401k there as well. True or false?
That would be false for sure. Yes, definitely. Big mistake that I see people make is they do that against lack of confidence. They don't know what to do with the money. They think taxes are going to be a problem if they move the money. So if you're 59 and a half or older, with most companies, probably 99%, most institutions, you can move that money penalty and income tax free. And there's no fee to do that, right? They don't charge you a fee to move it. I've never seen that happen. And so there's really no reason, especially if you have an advisor that can help you with that. On your own, I know it can be a little scary, but open an IRA. So what we do for our clients is we'll open up we custody with Charles Schwab. We open up an IRA at Schwab. They move their money from the 401k plan. We do all this for them, right? They don't do anything. They're on the phone with the administrator, with us on the phone, with our staff. The money goes from XYZ company over to the IRA. There's no cost, no fee to move that money. And then now they can do the things that they may need to do to change to make some better decisions. Maybe the fees are less expensive internally. And now we can do other investment planning that we can do that we couldn't do inside of the 401k plan.
So just a little clarification. 59 and a half, I'm still at the company, but if I leave the company, I can still roll that. Yes. So I might be 50 or 49 or 52, whatever. I'm sub 59 years old.
Yes.
I can still move that money to an IRA without penalty or taxes.
Yes, sir.
True
yes, sir.
or false? Okay,
No,
good.
true,
Good.
yeah. So you have to be, you don't have to be separated from service. At 59 and a half, you still can be working. The key term is separated from service. So if you leave a company, you're separated from service,
Yeah.
you can move the money. So you can move your money at 59 and a half and still work with the company. So what we're doing is just think of a sweeping out, let's say there's $1 million in the 401k plan. It's now moves over here to the IRA. We have that money there. We start contributing to the 401k plan. Nothing changes. Matching doesn't change. Nothing else changes. But now we're involved not only with the IRA money, but helping them plan with the 401k contribution.
Is there ever a time where you should leave your money behind? It would seem to me like
Never seen it.
it doesn't.
Never
it,
once.
Just the rule of thumb is if you leave your company and there's money in a 401k, it should go with you into an IRA.
Done this for 27 years, never seen an incident. And if it was, as my client is my client. If it was better, I would say leave the money there. I've never come across, and I'm trying to think of a situation where that would be, and I can't think of one.
Gotcha. Last question. The single biggest concern of retirees and pre-retirees is the fear of outliving their nest egg. True or false?
It is the number one true. It is the number one concern clients have, right? Is running out of money, and it should be, right? Again, when you're saving money, it's a lot easier to save money than it is to spend the money. Right? It's just psychological. It's part of the joy I get is empowering people to feel confident in spending money. And that's a big deal. It's psychological. It's between the ears, right? Even if they have enough money, right? But the fact is most people don't want to spend down the portfolio. So that's why creating cash flow from the portfolio, income, without having to sell assets, sell your stocks, sell your mutual funds, that's the first place we're going to start if we can do that. We're going to use other strategies, real estate, other investment products, lifetime income products, other things to do that with. But the fact is that at least part of our second opinion is again dealing with the cash flow as number one and solving for that. Because then you can tell somebody, can you retire?
And I think a lot of people want to maintain their lifestyle, David, right? They don't want to have to go backwards in lifestyle. I mean, okay, maybe we have to make a little change here and there, but for the most part, people want to maintain their lifestyle. So you put that budget together, you figure out, I'm going to make up a number here. You need 10 grand a month to live the lifestyle that you want to live. It needs to be inflation adjusted as you move on. But how wonderful to know, after sitting down with you, your team, that every month of every year, you can have this money set up with all the adjustments that need to take place every year for the balance of your natural life. That must be a wonderful day when we have the opportunity to tell new clients that, right?
Absolutely. I'm just trying to think the last time I had a client that we couldn't really, give them the lifestyle they wanted today. I mean, it's rare. I have to really rack my brain. It happens, it happens, but usually we can have a lot more income again than they thought, but it's the confidence of being able to spend the money. That's the key difference.
And I want to talk about that for a minute. I got 1 minute left here, David. That mindset change, you've sat at the table of sacrifice. You've been a great saver. You pinched some pennies here and there. You didn't do the trip you wanted to do. You kept putting the money away. Now, guess what? Got to go the other way with it. You now have to take money out of that account or accounts on a regular basis. For some folks, I would imagine that it's a difficult mindset change.
Absolutely.
They're still saving. They're paying them, but they're still saving, right?
Yep. Yeah. What's the saddest part is, the last thing I'll say on this is that some clients have the money, they don't spend it, and they would never run out of money with or without us, right? But they're still they just need the permission. I have a term I've used, I haven't used it all day. Permission to spend your own money. I learned that right away. My first year in the business, I have to actually give people permission to spend their own money.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what my job is, to help them.
David, thank you so much. If you want more information about anything we spoke about here today, 866 Reyes Plan. You can get set up for a complimentary second opinion. Have David look over all of your materials, or go to our website, reyesplan.com. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's retirement television.
Now more than ever, it's vitally important to review your current retirement plan and get an educated second opinion. Hi, I'm David Reyes, and for many retirees and pre-retirees, this is a very confusing time. As a family-owned business right here in San Diego, we have educated hundreds of families on how to retire with confidence in all market conditions. So let us help you. Give us a call at 866 Reyes Plan for a complimentary second opinion. And remember, you retire once, we retire every day.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's retirement television.
Today I want to talk about, how do you want your money to act? When we take on a new client, we want our money to do a job. We say we want, again, the most amount of income, least amount of risk, and never run out of money. So that's our job for every client. How do we maximize cash flow? How do we reduce risk and ensure the number one concern of every retiree is running out of money? So I want to show you this because this is a pretty indicative chart of markets when you go through some serious volatility like we did from 2000 to basically 2008 and 9, where you saw the market draw down 50% 2 times in less than a decade. Right? It's called the lost decade. And during that 13-year time frame, you made no money. Right? If we just extend it out a little bit, right, to 2000 to 2018, you basically made 2.85%, okay, compounded. But the fact is you had to suffer 50% losses to get there. Now, that's maybe okay if you're in your 30s or 40s, but as you approach retirement, even into your 50s, especially in your 60s, we cannot be having these types of drops for 2 reasons. Number one is that we may not be able to achieve our retirement goals by retiring on time, but more importantly is as we retire, if we lost that kind of money during retirement, we're taking cash flow from those investments, we're going to probably insure ourselves to either one of 2 things, either run out of money prematurely, or 2, have to reduce our quality of life. And again, let alone enough with stock market volatility, you now have bonds that have been a really bad asset class that have not acted this way for 40 years. Bonds have been a worse asset class this year really than stocks at some levels. Some bond funds are down almost 20% this year. On top of that, you have inflation that's running at 8% or higher. And so if you add all these things together, and we're at really high market risk right now, we want to make sure we have some planning to make sure that we want our money to act properly. And what that means to me and to you and to my clients is we want to have the income that we need, the lifestyle that we want to have without having to worry about going through massive losses in our portfolio. So another thing I want to add on this is that, so from here forward, what the nice part is we've been in a bull market pretty much since 2009. Now that's being tested this year. It was tested during COVID. The difference then is we had the headwinds today are inflation. We also have a Federal Reserve that is raising interest rates right now, right? There's no more stimulus checks that are happening. There's no more $10 trillion of stimulus we had during COVID between the Federal Reserve and Congress, between stimmy checks and easy monetary policy. So right now is a very difficult time. So if you're retired, we want to make sure you have some type of planning to deal with the effects of volatility. Okay, so if you have any questions, give me a call or go to our website. Thank you very much.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's Retirement Television.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
You're watching The Retirement Architect with David Reyes, San Diego's Retirement Television.
Thanks so much for watching this week's show.
And if you want more information about anything we spoke about here today, hey, pick up the phone and give us a call in the office at 866-REYES-PLAN or visit our website.
And remember, you retire once, we retire every day.